If you want, why don't you just get? We could, if you're looking to smoke and whatnot, we could. Yeah.
You're so adaptive. It's amazing. And considerate. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Go.
I definitely get. I don't smoke anymore, but I used to smoke cigarettes. So I
Oh, this
definitely
is
get
my
it.
last one anyway, so I wouldn't. I mean,
Your last one ever?
well, I just had it around. I didn't really smoke after. I only smoked when I went to rehab.
Yeah, I mean, I fucking love cigarettes, but I just at some point I was like, no more.
Yeah, they're kind of.
I'm gonna put the mic there. Dan, you want to sit? I'm sorry.
There's like another like decent chair at the other. It's like it's America thing.
No, it's fine. Like, it's just better probably. I mean, you can't be too close.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent mic, so I think it will pick everything up pretty well. Yeah,
Kind of. We are.
down and just get started.
Absolutely.
We've never field recorded something, so like, not 100% sure how it'll all turn out. But do you want to leave the door open? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can take your shoes off, by the way.
I will.
If you want. I obviously don't do
All right, I'm gonna do the intro, and we'll just have a conversation. We'll go wherever.
Awesome.
It should have an interesting sort of field recorded aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is The New Right, a podcast for the lost arts, reclaiming the literary holy land from the heathen. This is Matt Pegas.
And this is Dan Baltic.
And we're here in person with Eris, Elizabeth Victoria Aldrich. Is it Aldrich or Aldrich?
Aldrich.
But
no
but
one
it's-
else in my family has that last name because my dad didn't want me to get his last name because it was his last name's Allnut.
Allnut.
Which is, for him it's like a power move, but for me that would have been good because I'm fucking nuts. And yeah, you guys have the balls to be at my
Allnut, I get
apartment.
it.
I applaud you guys.
Yep,
Yeah.
we're at Eris's
Are on
apartment.
location in Eris's apartment.
And,
And,
well, I won't say exactly where you live, Eris, although I feel like you're kind of an open book. But
I've been doxxed, it's fine.
yeah, well, I'm not gonna give the fucking address. But we're in the San Fernando Valley. Let's put it that way, where Eris is a almost lifelong resident. Although
Unfortunately.
you've lived elsewhere and elsewhere in California, but you
as soon as I turned
Yeah.
18, I moved to San Francisco for a year. Let's close the hello person. Sorry, there was someone walking by.
yeah, you lived in San Francisco for
A year.
like Oakland, was it?
No, I lived in Inner Richmond, 12th and Gary.
Oh yeah, I know Richmond.
On
Yeah,
top of a sushi restaurant that's now a hookah lounge. I was there when it was still cool, like 2011.
yeah, when it
So-
was still like semi-affordable in some
Yeah,
places.
like when they beat up that girl wearing Google Glass.
Not familiar with that story, but yeah.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
and
she
people Google glasses.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
That's the type of thing that you would beat someone up for.
Yeah.
because they
And
look
the
really
lusty lady
dorky.
was still, like, it was not defunct yet. The Kink Armory was still there.
Oh, the Armory.
Yeah, I
sure.
worked there, and
You-
yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
That was
You,
in
you must have some stories.
Oh, yeah, that's where I got the
About
name Eris.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But this is where, here in the San Fernando Valley is where your story began and where you live now. This is probably more than I've doxed myself, but I'll say that I also am a resident of the SF Valley, San Fernando Valley. It's kind of an interesting place to live, or kind of not an interesting place to live, would you say?
It's
I mean, you were telling me you
place.
kind of hate it.
I mean, no one wants. I mean, haven't you gone to a party and had that experience of like, oh yeah, you're at some cool party in WeHo, and they're like, where are you living? And you say the valley, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
That's part and parcel of being from the valley.
Yeah.
But there's some hidden gems here. I mean, I like the sort of. I mean, obviously the cultural history, so to speak, in LA is interesting in general, but the valley has some interesting tidbits. It's like
I mean, there's
Fast
been
Times at Ridgemont High and
Francis Scalia blog, and like I mean, there have been many times when I've just been at the Sherman Oaks Galleria, like reenacting scenes from Less Than Zero.
right, Less Than Zero. I mean, there's a lot of like interesting cultural flashpoints here, and it's not as
Yeah, did you ever go to Dupars? It's shut down now.
Yeah,
but
no.
Yeah.
Dupar. I moved here in 2017, so Dupars was still open.
Oh,
I
cool.
don't actually know if I ever went in, but I remember it being in Studio City, which
Yeah.
referenced in Less Than Zero. But then they just
Yeah.
they turned into a goddamn Sephora. So
Oh my god.
yeah,
No.
a bit of a letdown. But there's a lot of interesting like
Wow.
locations like that around the valley.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you're from Woodland Hills originally, right?
That's where I was
Yeah.
born. I was raised in Porter Ranch. You know,
Porter
like the
Ranch,
very
yeah.
gated community. Yeah.
Now, I read, I think it was a Last Estate article about expat and about you that, and I hope this is not anything you don't want to touch on. Although
There's
I do
nothing
feel like
like
you're,
that. I
yeah,
have my whole life.
you're a totally open book.
Yeah.
Was your family involved in some kind of cult?
Yes, the Mahikari cult.
Tell me about that.
Yeah,
the
so-
Japanese death cult.
Well,
Very cool.
actually, it wasn't a death cult. It was
Or,
like,
sorry, yeah,
it was
tell me.
no, I mean like Gabriel is really great at like making things exciting. I love him so much, and I have nothing but I don't.
Gabriel
love
Hart wrote the article, right?
He's, yeah,
Or-
he's, I love him.
But
But
LA guy, yeah.
so yeah, no, I actually have like the workbook from the cult. Or, like,
Oh,
nearby.
if you have it, I
Yeah,
would
no,
love
let's
to
Yeah.
see it.
check it out.
Want to see a cult workbook?
Yeah.
Okay, and a picture of my mom right on top of it.
A picture of who?
That's her mom. I don't want to move.
Oh, okay. Let's take a look at this. Marakari.
Mahikari.
Sorry.
So you do this, you
Mahikari.
give light to people,
Yeah.
and so yeah, that was my childhood. And also, you learn that glitter is a good omen, which not many cults learn that. I guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna move the mic over here. Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries.
For the audience listening, I fucked up my leg because I'm dumb and I fell asleep on it. Funny.
Damn. So it's not a death cult. That's not quite accurate. I haven't read this.
I mean, I had a great time.
It's more like
Is it a life cult, Eris?
Well, I mean, like,
it's new agey. Is kind of what it seems like.
Fuck if I know, man.
Yeah. It's
Well, where's the Japanese element come in? Or did I mishear that? Or
No, you didn't. I can get the actual. Sorry for all the moaning. Okay.
no, it's
no, yeah.
Like, there's also chanting involved. So, like right here, random page. The great fire of cleansing to develop a positive spirit. I'm not gonna chant, but you know, it's this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this kind of gets into, like, Matt wrote a really interesting article about occultism
Ooh.
and, like,
did.
chanting and stuff. Like, what is this? How pathetic it is that one
Sorry.
thoughtlessly and even knowingly accumulates impurity in his family, eventually resulting in forceful compensation. That's pretty powerful.
You have a great reading voice. It's very soothing.
Eugenia Allnutt. That's her.
That's
well, okay. I don't want to
dox
dox her. parents.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
like, she passed away, so.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
So
that.
you can't really dox her.
Yeah, I guess you can't really dox someone who's passed away.
I mean, you can if you want to. I mean, it's gonna get weird.
Wow. So how long were your parents involved in that? How long were you?
I don't
Involved in
know.
that, yeah.
So at least a few years. But I had a good time. It was really cool. Like, they had like little offerings, and I'm a Buddhist now, so.
Okay.
so
Was it? It seems a little bit Buddhist
Yeah.
inflected or
Yeah.
influenced. Yeah. Yeah. No, I wouldn't call myself a Buddhist, but I definitely take some influence from that as well. So you wouldn't necessarily call it like a cult, or would you call it a cult?
Well, I looked it up later,
Yeah.
and I saw that it was called a cult, and I was like, all right, I've been in a cult. Cool.
Yeah. It's got like a leader, like a figurehead, cult of personality thing. I look, we don't have to perseverate on this for the entire conversation, but
No, I mean,
it sounds.
how
It
many
sounds
people do you know have been in a Japanese cult? Like,
0.
Yeah,
I
you
mean 1
now.
now. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah. But that was out of what Porter Ranch?
no, it was like kind of far away, but like 10
Oh.
out of 10. If you're gonna join a cult, like,
Mahikari.
do that one, not
Yeah.
that weird One Taste one. Have you heard of that? It's
No.
like a weird sex cult in SF.
Huh. That sounds bad, but yeah.
Very, yeah. It's weird.
But it doesn't. I guess I'm asking about the cult aspect because regardless of if it's a cult or not, it doesn't sound like it was entirely destructive. Like,
Oh
yeah,
no, I had
yeah.
like a very, very like perfect, ridiculously perfect childhood.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the outline.
Yeah.
What about you?
In terms of my childhood and
Yeah,
whatnot.
was it really terrible?
No, it was good. I mean, I know that my book. We'll probably talk a little bit about my book today, and I know that my book. Some
I
people.
want to.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Some people have called my book dark, but I would say I also had a pretty perfect childhood. And
You're not like Johnny from The Outsiders.
nope.
Okay.
You know, two loving parents. I was actually homeschooled, so
Oh my god, what the fuck's that like?
it was good. I mean, you
Yeah?
might describe it as a little bit sheltered, but
I grew up in a gated community, so.
yeah, maybe. I mean, it's nothing like growing up like that per se, but yeah, no, like
You're looking at us like, oh my god. People. No.
I don't even know if Dan knows that I was homeschooled. I think I've talked
know,
to
you told me.
no, okay, I've talked about it online before.
Yeah.
I think I got a really good education that way.
Oh, I bet. Like, I
I-
suck at math, for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm not like a math guy either, but I just think that it was probably good. No, you know, I'm not.
Can you open up an algebra book without crying?
Probably so.
See? All right.
I just think the kind of environment I grew up in where just education and reading and this, that, and the other thing were taken pretty seriously. So that I think continues to benefit me.
For sure.
I'm a fan of TV now. I'm not like a kill your TV guy, but like I didn't watch a lot of TV growing up, and I feel like not doing that, not being like sucked into like all the pop cultural stuff that all the other kids my age were doing. At times growing up it was like isolating because I wasn't necessarily like I wasn't.
Isolated, but it made you better than other people, so it's fine.
Yeah, like I think my imagination sort of had more time to develop on its own without immediately getting plugged into.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like for kids growing up nowadays with like
Other
TikTok and
fuck,
everything.
That's what they do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, my mom would always buy me, like, every book I wanted, and before I could read, I would just pretend to read, and she wouldn't correct anyone if I was reading it loud, and, like, I grew up on oldies,
Yeah.
too, so,
Yeah.
like, I never...
Mm-hmm.
I
Like
don't know.
always, like a little bit of a like I don't know. Your parents you were exposed to like older music, older.
Yeah, I mean,
books, yeah.
they weren't strict with me by any means, like, I've never been grounded in my whole life, but, yeah, like, my dad has, like, his own swag, his own style, like, he wears Hawaiian shirts with business attire, like, he's his own person,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Does he still live nearby?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's great, yeah. I saw him earlier today, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I guess you started talking a little about like reading as a kid and whatnot. What would you say is like your writer origin story? I mean, we'll get into Ruthless Little Things specifically,
UCLA book fair, I bought Lauren Otero's Idiot Girls Action Adventure Guide. And that's not any book that any 9-year-old should read. Like,
Not
she
familiar.
talks about like being an alcoholic and going to jury duty with like holes in her crotch and her like, pantyhose, but like it was so fucking funny. And,
Well, how old were you when
I was
you?
9.
Yeah, that is
Wow.
pretty young.
So like,
Yeah.
but it was so funny. I'm like, wait, you can just be a writer and be a total wreck. Like, this is great. And I loved it. And I actually got a certificate that said like, you're a member of the Idiot Girls Action Adventure Club.
Wow, I've never heard of this book, but it sounds like it had an
I still
influence.
have it somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just say
Yeah.
for the audience, we're in Eris's apartment and there's hundreds of books.
Yeah, these are the ones that have survived all the
Yeah,
moves.
yeah.
So I had more, but I'm happy about the ones I have still.
Yeah. So that was like your initial kind of spark to get into literature.
That
Was
one.
what was it called? The Idiot Adventure?
The Idiot Girls Action Adventure Club
Gotcha.
by Lauren Otero, and I mean also like I was always that kid like who would just be in the library all the time because reading is such a great escape. It's like that William Gibson quote, like reading was probably his first drug, or it's a William Gibson quote or something.
Yeah. William Gibson, who wrote like Neuromancer and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Ah, I love that.
oh, and did you started writing at a young age, or was that more recent?
Grab that. That was the first
The-
poem I got published. I wrote
Oh.
it when I was in Canada
It's-
on ketamine.
Oh shit!
wow.
Which one?
Runaway.
impressed. You
Oh,
could write on
Runaway by
ketamine.
Elizabeth Archer.
I mean,
It's,
I have some more.
it's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. I'm reading Runaway by Elizabeth Aldrich. She was resurrected in the back of her father's pickup truck, it starts.
It's so pretentious. You can read it alone, but wait, this is actually the first book.
Yeah.
I have the best bio.
Okay, a helpful and fun. This looks older even. You got a couple, what, are these Stars of David on this?
Oh, cool. This is
help.
just for the reader or listeners. This is an illustrated book that Eris illustrated when she was younger.
You must have been like 9 or 10, right?
Look at the back.
Oh, yeah, okay, so Elizabeth is 7 years old. Her hobbies are swimming, rollerblading, having fun, helping, sleeping, reading, watching movies, TV, drawing, making new friends.
I forgot building the rainforest.
I like to build the rainforest.
Oh, yeah.
That's the last line. It was just made in school.
Yeah, I have a bowl cut as well.
Yeah, there is a bit of a bowl cut. Wow.
Didn't we all?
Yeah. This is amazing that you just kind of have your whole life
I
in this
didn't
apartment.
know about Courtney Love yet, and she's basically right there. Like,
Damn.
Yeah?
so yeah,
This is some
but
great stuff.
like then I got really into Michelle T. And
Yeah.
that whole thing, like that whole Sister Spit literary scene.
So a lot of, I mean, this is kind of retarded to say, but like a lot of like female writers.
Yeah, no, I was
yeah.
really only reading female authors
Yeah.
until like I read Manuel's book and I was like, wait, I can relate to these people too.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. I have a lot to catch up on.
Gotcha.
Maybe this is an interesting point to zero in on. How did you come to meet Manuel?
Oh, so I have this boyfriend I met through Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Online.
Of course, yeah.
Through drugs. It's through drugs. And
Yeah,
whatever. Anyway.
Great connector.
So, but he had this impeccable taste in like music and literature, and so he bought me Haunted Girlfriend. He's also bought me.
By James Nolick, right?
He bought me Stupid Baby by.
Oh, I've heard of Stupid Baby.
I can't pronounce his name. I don't want to fuck it up.
By that guy Ellison, right? Scott Ellison.
Or New Juice, yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, New Juice. I've never read anything by New Juice, but I know he's like a major.
For the record, I just crawled across my living room to get stuff.
Yeah.
Like Smeagol.
Right. Like, yeah, exactly. New Juice. Never read anything by him, but he's published with like 9 Banded books and whatnot. He's kind of part of. Maybe he's published with Expat now too. I mean, he's part of that whole.
I mean, definitely Amphetamine Sulfate. I love them so much.
Yeah, Amphetamine Sulfate, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Manuel calls it. We did a podcast with Manuel a couple months ago, and
Yeah,
he calls it, like you hear things like outsider lit and dissident lit, but I guess he likes the term countercultural lit or just counter.
Yeah, and I love so much how Amphetamine Sulfate hates the transgressive word.
Yeah, that was what Manuel specifically rejected was transgressive fiction, which I agree with. I mean, I've probably been guilty of using the term transgressive fiction because, like, to like a normie audience, I think that's what they think of is like stuff that explores themes that are like not socially acceptable or whatever. But yeah, past a certain point, transgressive fiction is like a pretty stupid box to put yourself in. It's like it conjures to mind the image of being transgressive for its own sake, which is like pretty stupid. I just
don't like it, and I'm a fucking edgelord. I'll be the first to admit it. Like, and I just feel like that's so general. It's meaningless at this point.
It is meaningless.
It's kind of like who or what are you transgressing?
Yeah,
transgressive fiction. It's just it doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
And like outsider, at least it does say like there's a corporate publishing world and you're on the outside. That makes sense.
I like outsider a bit more, but yeah, countercultural, I guess.
Or countercultural. We
would
like that too.
Term du jour, yeah.
I mean, in 2018, there was an email exchange between me and Sam Pink, which is actually really embarrassing. And I'm glad that he didn't bring it up when I met him. But he was just like, literature is literature. And then I think he did something to signify like,
Oh, like blowing smoke out of the gun. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
That's kind of
I
funny.
mentioned something embarrassing, so we'll never talk about it. But yeah. So literature is literature.
No, I think that's the best way. Literature
But I
is
do
literature.
like the whole cyber writing term thing.
Yeah, cyber writing gets to the heart of something because we're all very online people
And
and
very, very online.
and kind of influenced by like the cultural moment of like blogging
that's
a
why
little
I'm
bit.
so excited
You used
for
to work
Nash's,
El Nash. Okay.
El Nash's
Yeah.
like live journal gag reflex.
Right. I've never really been on LiveJournal, but that was kind of big in the 2010s, right? Like just kind of write it. What was the idea there? You just
write about your life. Like,
write
no
about
one
your
really
life.
cared about privacy. There were just a lot of
Yeah.
sad, mentally ill people who wrote a lot and you bonded. Like, I got
Yeah.
engaged.
You were on there.
I got
Yeah.
engaged to someone I met through there. Actually, like Valerie is inspired by how I felt after I broke up with this girl from there, and then they actually bonded over their hatred over me, which is amazing.
It's never fun.
But yeah, no, I mean that was a great time on the internet.
Yeah. So you had like a live. I mean, I'm forgive my ignorance here. Like I've never really been on LiveJournal. Is it even still up as a website?
I got bought by the Russians.
Oh, by the Russians. Okay.
Yeah, but no one really uses it anymore.
Yeah, it feels very 2010s. I don't know.
Like 2013,
Yeah.
2014.
I
remember I was dating a woman in an open marriage,
Ooh.
and she had a live journal, and like it coalesced in my mind, or was cemented in my mind as this is like that type of thing.
Oh, wow.
That this is
Like what do you mean?
like it's
people who are in
an
open
outlet
marriages,
for people who are a little more libertine, shall we say?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I guess we can talk a little bit about Ruthless Little Things too. Like, would you say?
Wait, no, I want to ask you how.
Okay, yeah. You're asking me about my book. Is that what's going on?
The algorithm. Like, how did you? After you thought about it, did you Google it? You're like, I couldn't be the first person to think of it. It's too fucking genius. Like, what was the moment like?
I mean, okay, so I came up with that for people who, I don't think all of our listeners have read my book, so the Phalgorithm
Well, they
is...
should, because it's really good, and if I can read it in rehab with no attention span, you can read it too, because I devoured it. It's really fucking good.
Thank you, Eris.
Absolutely.
It means a lot, yeah.
And if it was bad, I wouldn't tell you.
I'm his co-host,
Hey, I wouldn't
so I'm
tell you to
obligated
read
to
it.
lie about
Yeah.
this, but I'm not lying. It's a great book, and I read it in one sitting.
And
Thanks, dude.
everyone knows I'm a bitch. I would not lie.
Well, I really appreciate it from both of you. But the Phalgorithm, for people who don't know, it's a kind of a satirical element of my book satirizing like postmodern literary theory, where a professor and his graduate student underling have come up with the concept of a method of close reading from which you can deduce the penis size of any male writer. Yeah, that's basically what the Phalgorithm is. And yeah, it was actually I thought of that well before
Oh, so you just fit it into the book?
yeah, I'm trying to so I started writing Dragon Day when I was a freshman in college, or I didn't really start writing it because I didn't know what I was doing with regard to writing, but I started thinking of it when I was a freshman in college, like Toby in the book, and I finished it when I was like 20, I think it's 25 or 26. So kind of like the narrator in the book, so it kind of, I mean, it took me way too fucking long to write it, or to, I didn't know how to write, so.
I feel like once when you start a book, you start it as one character and you end it as a different character.
Yeah, no,
For
totally.
sure.
And like I was in college, I was, out of college, I was working, I didn't have a good writing practice, so it was kind of just, it was the novel that I'd been kicking around in my head for years, and I finally executed upon. So,
Fuck yeah.
It took me too long, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm trying to
it
say,
could be the exact amount.
right? It always ends up feeling like it was kind of meant to be that you wrote it when you write it, but.
Exactly.
I thought of I was a freshman in college, kind of like Toby in the novel, walking around. I wasn't as nearly as dark and depressed as him. My life was pretty good. I have very fond memories of college. But
Is there a Zoe?
no, not really, actually.
Right on.
I mean, we can get into that later. But in the grand scheme of things, maybe, we all have
Zoe. I have
yeah.
Zoe, for God's sake.
we all have heartbreak, right? But no, I was exposed to a lot of literary theory that struck me as like termites, like it was like people deconstructing literature in a way that kind of ruined it.
I
and
know
sometimes
like
of a
when
certain
you choose things so much it doesn't have any fucking flavor.
kind of like that, like just really deducing. I was exposed to a lot of, not to get too political about it, but I was exposed to a lot of people who were like, oh, all these straight white male writers are so problematic, and look how I think the algorithm kind of comes out of that, like the notion of the fear of being read literally, but then also figuratively, like being read in a social situation, and like having someone like it's I would say it's kind of a metaphor for social anxiety as well, like the notion that like, oh my god, they're all, I'm just gonna be crass, like you're all gonna see me naked, and like they're gonna think my dick is small, something like that.
Totally.
But like applied to literature, and the notion of like, how does anyone supposed to like write something honest when there's all these termites of literary theory attacking. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a huge societal problem, because in the grand scheme of things, literary theory doesn't matter. But
has that.
Yeah. That definitely. I mean, and with the character in the novel, Toby, he's cripplingly self-conscious, and that was probably somewhat of a David Foster Wallace influence, if I'm being totally honest. I really responded to the characters and his. I was like a David Foster Wallace bro when I was like 16, 17.
Yeah.
And I responded to the characters in his novels who were like super shy and.
Well, I haven't. Like I said, I haven't really read any. I have a lot of catching up to do.
No, you don't need to. You definitely don't need to read David Foster Wallace.
I need to read Infinite Jest, for the love of God.
I mean, yeah, I actually feel like you might like Infinite
No,
Jest.
I would. Like, I mean, I loved. I know it's not the same, but I loved Finnegan's Wake so much.
Oh, I haven't read Finnegan's Wake. Like, we all have catching up to do. I mean, none of us. We all grew up like TV babies and whatnot. I don't think any of us have read like everything.
I mean, nor could you.
Yeah.
Like, you have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, no, when I first read the algorithm, well, first I read it out loud to my roommate because I was laughing hysterically, and then I was like, what would Andrea Dworkin think? What would like?
Yeah, Dworkin's interesting.
Yeah, no, I love her fiction a lot. And
I didn't realize she wrote fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you said it, I'm just like, wow. She
Yeah.
wrote fiction.
I mean, that was a huge. She's like a huge inspiration for me, because she would just write about like being on speed in New York and just being really poor, and like she's just so fucking brilliant. But I'm staring at woman hating right now, and like I think she would have found this algorithm really fucking funny.
Yeah. Dworkin. I've not read much Dworkin. I kind of just know her as like this quote unquote anti-sex feminist.
Yeah, which is like, it's super wrong.
But it probably is wrong. So correct me.
Then again, I haven't
if and
read
when I'm
Winter
wrong.
Wars by her, which is her most famous.
Well, there is something interesting about Dworkin, because my impression, and again, I'm probably wrong. I haven't read it, but my impression is she said all sex is rape. That's Dworkin, right? She says that.
I think so.
No, that's from a fiction, and she's like, to the best of my, if I recall correctly, she is paraphrasing. She's paraphrasing the phrase, "All coitus is punishment for the solitude, for pleasure of being alone," or something like that. But it's when her character is going insane, like from poverty and stuff in New York. That's from a fiction book.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't. I will. I don't want to be able to.
I mean, I've done porn. I'm very pro. I'm more like an Annie Sprinkle kind of person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just that notion, regardless of the like overall, whether or not it's like Dworkin's overall intellectual position or what, just the notion of all sex as rape, or all sex as having some kind of domination aspect to it.
But even if that was true, like, why would it be bad? Like,
right.
I've actually gotten off to like some woman hating, honestly.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I think a lot of people do. It's pretty normal, part and parcel of sexuality. But I view Dworkin, again, not coming from the perspective of someone who's read much of her, as someone who was just like dealing. What's that?
You judge her by the overalls.
No, not even. But like,
I'm just kidding. I know I wouldn't.
Yeah. She's just someone who's kind of dealing with that notion of the domination submission element of sex, and maybe And that looms pretty large in my novel too. I would say there is like this notion of everything being penetration, everything being
Like
it
that
boils
scene in
down
the woods
to
when he gets the shit beaten out of him.
yeah, and obviously the character in my book does get raped. Spoiler alert, although it happens at the beginning. And power. Put it this way. So to speak on the algorithm, I was interested in a lot of like kind of Freudian and post-Freudian critical theory stuff. Interested, and maybe I sort of made fun of it, and I did satirize it with this algorithm. But nevertheless, I was genuinely interested in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of that like if we're talking about Foucault even, a lot of it boils down to deducing power dynamics in society and like where power dynamics
even if you were
exist.
satirizing it, you have everything in a very genuine way, because a lot of people like they satirize or they, and you can just tell like nothing they make or put out is genuine, and you're just like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? But so you're not like that at all. Like you, so it's.
Yeah, it was just like something I was, I guess, grappling with and trying to be nuanced
Plus,
about.
you also like brought up like the whole like, and then there was a lesbian in the group that
Yeah.
and then didn't you have like there was like a little like
Which
a
part?
little graph, like when they have the meeting.
Yeah, there's like a graph. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you thought of everything.
Yeah, there's like a lesbian, and
Yes!
and she talks about like the potential for like a vaginal will to power or
Yes,
something.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is the type of stuff that like I was kind of exposed to in college. A lot of people are, and like I'm not progressive in that way, or I'm not of that critical theory type bent. But
I
like,
took queer creative process in college. Like
that's that kind of class. So like, yeah, no, I was influenced by all that, and I kind of satirized it, but also kind of got something from it, I guess. And I think there's a lot too. Like, there's something very, to use a term from like the internet, the online rights. There's something very red pilling about about reading Freud and whatnot. You read that stuff, and it changes the way. What's that?
My favorite cocaine.
Right. You read Freud, you read people who were influenced by Freud, like Lacan, who is probably one of the most direct influences on the algorithm, because he wrote a lot about dicks and whatnot. He didn't write, that's a little crass. He wrote a lot about the phallus. But you read that stuff, and some of it's really bloated and pretentious and bullshit. But also, you can read that stuff, and it does change the way you view reality, and it does change the way you view social dynamics, and like. Yeah, I'm definitely not a Lacanian. I'm not even really a Freudian, but like that stuff, kind of like what to bring it a little bit weirdly full circle, like you were saying how like the San Fernando Valley is always part of you. Like you read stuff like that in college, and even if, and like you were saying, you don't really like the Valley, but it's part of you. I went through college and I read that stuff, so now it's part of me. It's part of my outlook. Even if I'm rejecting it.
Yeah. No, like I have to stop myself from like some people want to talk to me about feminism, and I'm like, God damn it, don't do this. I'm like skeleton jazz wizard. Like Esther W will come out and be like, no, don't do this. You don't want me to get this. Wait, so sometimes I'll just be like, oh, I hate it, just to completely avoid the topic.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Which I don't hate men. I think men have it hard.
You think Toby has it hard?
The hardest, dude. Fuck.
Yeah, well, James Nolick blurbed one thing we have in common besides living in the Valley is that James Nolick blurbed both our books, and his blurb for my book surprised me, but then I came to
too. I did not accept
like
the rape. I expected the rape scene when it said incel classic.
Right. Yeah. So it's but I like that blurb from James.
No,
I think
he's amazing. Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, and I love what he said about my book too.
Yeah. Let's read what he said about your book. He says, Elizabeth Victoria Aldrich speaks more truth in this slim, elegant glitter bomb than most writers speak in an entire lifetime. Yeah. I like my quote from James Nolick, but you got the better one.
You got incel classic though.
That's true.
That's fucking amazing.
Both are nice, yeah. Glitter bomb is a nice word though.
Yeah, I know. I love that.
You were saying something about glitter. Didn't you say there was some glitter connection to the Mahikari, right?
Yeah. No, I mean,
a little synchronicity there, perhaps.
I don't know. I mean, I love glitter. I'm a glittery person.
Yeah, no, your imagery online is very glittery, and the book. I guess it's not technically glitter, but there's a
I think there are
Kinda-
references to glitter.
Yeah,
in
for
there.
No,
sure.
there are definitely, because
Yes.
I would go to the library and I would go get those like fruits, those Japanese fashion magazines, and I would just write down their outfits. And also, I have like I was wearing all this
Makeup.
weird-
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why that was important, but it was.
hmm
I mean, that's what I wanted to read about. I wanted to read about fucked up girls with a lot of makeup on doing drugs.
Yeah. Well, and you wrote a book about it. I mean, this is a
Thank
stupid
you.
question,
I love stupid questions.
but like the book is pretty autobiographical, right?
Well, okay, a lot of stuff didn't happen. I mean,
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of interesting how, like, a lot of things that people are sure was real isn't, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Oh,
Not
interesting.
to put you on the spot.
No, I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. Ask
Yeah,
me
yeah.
anything.
No, I mean, what? I guess what are? I don't know. I'm not gonna ask what was real and what wasn't, but I mean, it's like it's rooted in your life.
Like you know the whole like the mansion thing.
Where they go
Yeah.
to the
That
guy's
was
house.
yeah, that was inspired by a porn I watched.
It did. Well, it felt like that. I'm glad that it wasn't necessarily entirely
Yeah,
autobiographical.
Joyride was
Yeah.
that was originally a live journal entry from 2012.
Joyride. That's what the chapter is called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was great. That was like the first time Elle like edited something I wrote, and oh, she's so magical.
Who's Elle?
Elle Nash.
Elle Nash. Okay, yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, I don't know her. I don't know that much about her. I mean, the name rings a bell. Yeah, edited by Elle Nash. That's
Yeah.
She also writes for Expat, and she has a book coming out with Expat, or
Like, she's like friends with Elizabeth Ellen, and maybe she's on that. She has her own Wikipedia page.
she has her own Wikipedia page. I will look up.
And
the
she has a
Wikipedia
great
page.
website. She just redid it,
Yeah.
and I'm sure nudes, which I have
Nudes.
there. Isn't that such a genius title?
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Oh wait, no. This is I mean, I lost one of her books because I gave it to someone in rehab, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll get distracted if I'm there any longer. But no, she was there when we read this, and this is one of
Oh, this is a
Gabriel
crazy fucking. Oh, Gabriel. I should read Gabriel Hart because we're
Hart. You should! Oh my gosh, you have
mutual.
to read Scattertown!
No,
Oh
no.
my God.
I mean, you say you have catching up to do with. I mean, fuck David Foster Wallace. Like, I should read some more of these people who like
Are
actually, are alive. You're right. and follow me on Twitter. I owe them
'cause,
that.
like,
Yeah.
I loved that. Like,
Yeah.
I could read your book and I could just, message you in all caps. You're like, I'm reading your book.
Yeah, it's
so
pretty
great."
cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we
It
got
must
a
be a
great.
little unnerving, but
Oh no, I mean when someone's complimenting your book, it's not that unnerving. It's mostly just fantastic. Yeah,
right on.
yeah. You read my book in rehab, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's cool.
So there were, is there no, like, interruptions?
Yeah. You get a lot of good reading done during moments in life like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, when I was in jail for the first time, I was telling Manuel, like, because he hates when anyone interrupts his reading. Like, he'd be so jealous of me, Manuel, right now, because, like, no one's interrupting
Yeah, I
my
know.
reading.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna like go to rehab,
Or
much less
jail.
jail to
Yeah.
get good reading
Jail's
done.
more fun.
But it sounds like you might get good reading done. I mean, I love.
I mean, you went to
plain-
college. I didn't, so I had to get it done somewhere.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I can see it. It's like do your reading somewhere without distraction. Yeah, like I love even like long torturous plane rides. I always look forward to because I know I can read like a whole fucking book.
Yeah,
What's
because
the-
you have to.
What's the
Because you're just
longest
there with it.
torture? I can't say it.
The longest torturous
Yeah,
plane ride I've been on. It's been a while. I haven't done as much traveling as I want, but probably I flew to Argentina. Yeah.
I know that. You have to quote that song.
Wait, is that by Creed?
I don't.
Like post grunge. Yeah. Yeah, it took like I guess 13 to 16-hour flight to
Jeebus,
Argentina.
Christmas. Wow.
Yeah. But I don't remember what I read on that. That was like before I was reading as much as I do now. I'm mostly talking about my like 4 or 5 hour flight back to the East Coast where my family lives. I always like will read most of a book. I think I read like have you heard of Breakfast with the Dirt Cult by Samuel Finley? It's like a frog Twitter book that's going around. I read that recently. So.
No, but I'll look into it. What were you saying?
I was gonna say I actually read Dragon Day on a flight to Vegas, but my longest flight was to Hong Kong from New York.
What?
Oh, that's like
It's
the
like
longest
19
flight.
hours.
Yeah.
Oh
Or what's one?
my
And so I
God.
read, I think, at least 2 novels on that
How many
flight.
ships did you take on that flight?
That's a good question.
Yeah, at least one.
At least one. Yeah.
I mean, 19 hours. That's
Yeah.
that was long.
Yeah, I think the longest is like 26 hours or something, right? To Indonesia.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
But yeah, no, that's crazy. I've never been on anything that long. But
I
yeah.
usually
Yeah.
just the last flight I went. Well, when I went from here to New York, I was like, I'll just stay up for 3 days, so I'll sleep on the plane. I did not sleep on the plane.
I can't sleep on planes. Yeah.
Oh, for me, moving vehicles, I fall right asleep.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
good for you.
I don't
You're
know
lucky.
why,
I
it's the motion.
can't.
No, it's
yeah.
because when
Like,
you're a baby and
yeah.
you know, like cars always. I love car rides. I fall asleep.
Really, I've like almost never fell asleep in the car since I was a baby. Yeah. Anyway.
That's good. Well, you're the vigilant one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt's been driving us around.
So
I
it's
hope
good.
he
Yeah,
doesn't fall asleep.
I'm usually the driver, so it's good that I'm not falling asleep. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm staying with Matt right now. The New Ride team is based in LA this week.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Why did you pick the name Toby?
Oh, it's the most stupid fucking story ever.
Awesome.
I mean, like, really stupid, like, really
Great.
disappointing. I was in a creative writing class, and there was some exercise where we all had to write a sentence and then pass it to our left and make that the first sentence of our story. And I got some sentence, I don't remember the sentence, but it had the name Toby in it. And I used that as my story, the short story that later became Dragon Day was that story. So someone else
So
picked it for
cool.
me.
But he was such a Toby.
You think so?
He couldn't
Oh,
be
yeah.
any other name.
You think? Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that was.
I've
real
gotten the
Toby.
opposite reaction. I've had people tell me Toby doesn't sound like a real person's name.
Well, they don't fucking know anything.
But yeah, no, I think it really started to stick. If it hadn't been Toby, I would have named him something like Max or something stupid. Like Toby, I think Toby's a good balance of like.
Like if
It
you're
stands
named
out a
Toby,
bit, yeah.
You are going to be a loser of some sort.
Toby,
Maybe
it
in
just it seems very
killer.
tormented.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like. You need a pillow?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I really do appreciate your interest in my book, and I think thank you for asking me about the algorithm because at first I'm like, it's been a while since I wrote Dragon Day, like longer even. It was finished for like over a year before it came out, kind of thing. So like part of me is just like algorithm, that's something I would like came up with as a satire a while ago, but then you get me talking about it, and I think that whole notion of like self-consciousness and whatnot that it corresponds to, I do think gets to the heart of what I like about Dragon Day.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because the thing about when you do something really bad is you want to know why, and then you have that whole book to explore it, and it's just really fucking good. And
You like that structure where it's like
Yeah,
from the beginning
absolutely.
that something very bad happened.
yeah, and there's an outside observer, and then it's just no. I really like that setup a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I don't think I've read anything like that before. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Gosh. No, and I obviously, I think I already said this, but your book was great. I mean, a fantastic slim volume like mine. Just out, Glitterbomb's a good word because it's just a lot of emotion and drama.
I feel like it's like split into like two people, kind of. There's like the prosy one, and then there's just like
There's like prose narration and then
then-
kind of impressionistic, poetic passages.
just stuff from like an asylum, kind of.
Yeah, I think it's a really apt title. I mean, Ruthless Little Things, that is written in there, that's a sentence, but it conjures very much the image of, I think, like I don't know if there's one protagonist here, but it's both
Basically one
Speaking
protagonist,
of
right?
that, it was actually originally called Ruthless Little Thing, and then Manuel was like, no, it's Things, and I was like,
Yeah.
and then I asked Damien, because I thought Fucked Up was the best name of a book ever, so I'm like, what do you think, Damien? He's like, definitely plural, so I stuck with it.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, Manuel didn't do it on purpose or like anything like that, but I thought it was a good accident.
Because Ruthless is, ruthless, and Little Things is cute.
Ruthless,
So
I think,
it's
is very much in the
Ruthless.
Valley.
Okay.
That's very Valley inspired. For
What
me.
the use of that word?
Yeah.
I mean, is that people say ruthless?
Well, I
in the
mean,
valley?
maybe just for me personally, when I was like.
Because I know that like people say like depending on where in America, but like savage and stuff like that.
Dude, yeah, I have a pin that says savage. Well, the G fell off, so now it just says savage. But like, but it's not. Yeah.
I think the first page I saw of this book was from the Joyride section where he you go to some, what was it called? I'm trying to find the page.
The thing that I like about that is that like you can tell that she just like she's making all of the bad decisions, and she wants to. Like that's what I like.
Yeah, no, that is an interesting element of it, and that's I like
Which
this
is weird
kind of.
because I just said that was true.
Yeah, no, but
But
I like this kind of book. Have you read much Dennis Cooper?
I read The Sluts.
Yeah, I actually haven't read The Sluts. I've read a lot of other
so
things.
good.
I mean, I put him in this category a little bit. Like literature about people making bad decisions. I mean, Less Than Zero is also kind of like this, which I was going to get to in a second because that's also Valley said. But people making bad decisions, and it's not like they're making it and they're super excited about them. They kind of know they're bad decisions, but there's just this detached neutrality.
Exactly. Perfectly put.
About doing it, and that's always. I'm very much not like that in my personal life. Like
That's
I'm
good.
blah blah blah. I'm not even tooting my own horn here. Just I'm conscientious. I don't whatever. Like I'm neurotic. I worry about things, but it's kind of liberating. And it's also like this is maybe a dumb reference point that I've been making too much lately. But like the show Euphoria. Like I don't know. I sometimes like taking in this kind of fiction or this kind of TV because it's so much not like me.
I've only seen a few scenes, but it was very much. Oh my gosh, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean that show too is kind of like your book, I guess, a little bit.
I mean,
At times because it's about
I
drugs.
had some guys say the shit that he says to that one girl when he's in the bathroom. He's like, "You're fucked up," like, or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that reminded me.
Yeah, I mean it's a prevalent like genre of fiction and of TV where it's about drugs and about people doing drugs or other types of bad decisions, and there's just that detached, give no fucks tone, and as someone who's not very much like that in my day-to-day life, it's always interesting to dip into it. You know what I mean?
Huh. What's it like?
What's what
well, I mean, like you can be like, oh, I mean, because I don't know, I don't really have like, I mean, I have very strong values.
Yeah.
But how do I say this? I'm morally.
Yeah, no, you
depraved.
don't seem like you give no fucks.
Really?
You don't. Well, you seem a little bit like that, but also like you have values. You know what I mean? I'm not saying
the
like
things I give a fuck about. I give a super fuck.
Yeah,
about.
no, you're very passionate about like. I mean, I don't know you that well, but you're very passionate about like literature and like people in your life.
Obviously, house cleanliness.
Or not. But I don't think the world is evenly divided between people who don't give a shit and people who do or anything like that. I'm just talking about a certain tone in books, including in yours, where it's like, whatever happens, roll the dice, Yeah. But I was gonna say this is really neither here nor there. I mean, I
just find it really interesting.
What's that?
I just find it really interesting because I'm usually just talking to like really fucked up meth addicts lately, so we'll just. They don't have very good morals, so I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're a good person. Tell me more. What's it like?
I'm not sure if I'm a good person. But
I mean, I don't want to judge.
But I'm at the opposite of. I don't want to.
I don't want to ruin your reputation, man.
No, yeah. Right. I have a bad boy image to cultivate. I'm part of the online right.
You wrote an incel classic.
I wrote an incel classic. Watch out for me. Yeah. But no. I was just gonna say I get really into like when I recognize a location in a book, and being from the Valley, there was a lot of that in just little things. I mean, I was telling you earlier when we talked about how there's 2 McDonald's in Encino, like I immediately knew both McDonald's. I immediately got how one could confuse the two because they're both on Ventura. And I think the first thing I ever saw from your book was someone had posted a screenshot of, I think it's in Joyride, where they go to that Mediterranean restaurant in Malibu.
Yeah.
Have you been there? What's it called?
Taverna Tony's.
Taverna Tony's. Yeah, it's kind of overpriced, but good. And I've been there, and I saw that, and I was like, "Holy shit! I got to buy this book. It's got Tavernatonys in it."
Oh my
Like,
gosh,
I'm just
fuck
that
yeah.
person. Like, I get really into like locations and like
No,
movie
that's
locations.
fucking cool
I was like,
shit.
this book, yeah. And also, I mean, I like that element of less than zero, like we were talking about earlier with new cars and stuff. Like, I remember, so I read Less Than Zero before I ever moved to LA, and I enjoyed it. But I didn't really get all that. And then I read it again about 6 months after moving to LA and after moving to the Valley. And I was like, holy shit, I know every fucking street in this book. And and then when I saw that in your book about Tavernatonys, I was like, that book, I'm also going to like, I'm going to know the locations. And it definitely delivered on. I'm trying to think if there's other ones, but Mimi's Cafe in Chatsworth, right?
Is it in Chatsworth? I know it's
Or whatever.
nearby.
I mean, that's a chain, I think.
Yeah, there's. I'm talking about the one that's near like In and Out.
Well, that sounds like every corner in California. Yeah, but no. I know what you mean.
I mean, there's a mention of the 242, 243 bus.
Yeah. Well, this is showing my like. I don't know if this is bougie or what, but I'm not as familiar with the buses in LA.
Oh, I mean, I dated a girl who drove me everywhere in a Jaguar. You're fine. Like that's the beginning of the book.
Public transpo. I think I've ridden one bus in LA, and it was a good experience.
You just said public transport, like gives you away instantly.
Does it give me away? I'm sure it does.
Transit,
I'm sure transit. But I think it's probably underrated. I think my impression is that
No, it's terrible. No one likes it, especially in LA. I avoid it at all costs. Why I didn't think I'd ever go anywhere. It smells. It takes too long. The ones everywhere else are much better.
But
always date people with cars.
all I can say is I took one bus from like Hollywood to Silver Lake once, and it came in clutch. Like, it can be convenient, and then if you combine that with Ubering, like you can really get around. But I've always just driven a car, you know. But now with gas at fucking $7 a gallon, you know, maybe it's time to,
I failed the first time I took the written test. I was like, fuck it.
The written test in California is really hard.
I got like half the answers wrong.
Yeah. The one I learned to drive in Pennsylvania.
But every time I read the driver's manual, I'd fall asleep.
That's pretty boring.
No, and I would use it. I would use the audiobook to help me fall asleep for years.
The audiobook of the driver's guide?
Yes.
Yeah. The people, that is a sleeping technique people use, is like listening to really boring shit. And the California DMV manual probably fits that bill.
Couldn't get much more boring than that.
Oh yeah, it's better than Ambien.
I don't even know why I'm bringing this up, but just making chat, I guess. You said you were at the DMV earlier, right?
Well, we went, and because my dad drove me, and it was closed because it was Cesar Chavez Day.
Right, it is Cesar Chavez.
And then I was like, if I was in Yellow House, I'd fucking know that, but
actually, very few people know. Like, Cesar Chavez is like very California.
I mean,
do you know?
Did I say his name wrong?
No.
I didn't realize that you have a day off.
Yeah.
Because of him.
I mean, I didn't for my work, but like schools have Cesar Chavez Day, or however you say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Heard of him.
Yeah, he's kind of interesting. I don't know that much about him, but he was, a lot of people on the left like him.
The workers, right?
Yeah, he organized the workers,
cool.
but he's also he's a little bit more like populist-y.
Yeah,
like
I
think
based, I think.
Yeah, that's what I recall.
Oh, I want to talk about how like you had the kind of. Like, I've been to a lot of queer co-ops in the Bay Area, and that kind of reminded me of Yellow House, too.
Yeah, for sure. And I lived in something like that in college.
Right on.
Yeah.
And I loved, like, I've never been to college, and I enjoyed, well, I have a little, and I enjoyed, like, how, like, I felt like I was, like, Sarah Lawrence again, like, when I was reading your book.
Yeah, no, it has that. I look.
For the record, I took one class.
At Sarah Lawrence?
I have at the Writing Institute, which is where I wrote the thing about smelling shit on the bus, and I have a sweater, but anyway, yeah, I'm not trying to
No.
do anything. Anyway,
yeah,
but it was just very like relatable.
Yeah, no, people ask me about this because like the book is dark and it like satirizes elements of college. But like I loved every minute of college, honestly, and yeah, it has that sort of Ivy, not Ivy League, but Ivy covered walls, beautiful libraries. There's some like
Toby loves literature and learning.
Yeah, he studies English and philosophy and poetry and all that, which, it's probably no shock to people. That's also what I studied. And yeah, no, it's a really romantic image for me. And I have a lot of like academic people in my family, and it's just,
that's awesome.
It's interesting moving to LA because the culture is like a lot less academics oriented out here.
Yeah, like my dad, he was making good money, so he's like, yeah, no, I dropped out of college to get falling asleep in class. Like, because it's so dark, Lizzie. I don't think that man has seen the ending of any movie. He's gone to theaters to see. I love him so much. He just falls asleep everywhere. But yeah, no, it's very different in LA.
Yeah, I love LA. I'm not even putting it down, and I think in some ways
it's different. Like,
it's just different.
Yeah.
I think in some ways it was good for me to kind of get out a little bit out of my comfort zone moving here. I think I probably could have I always thought maybe I'd go into academia, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I think it's a kind of a circle jerk and kind of like it's portrayed in my book.
Derivative, kind of.
What's up?
Derivative?
Yeah, a little bit derivative or just like pretentious, basically. Or
I think the
Ivy
most
Tower.
pretentious thing you can ever do is worry about being pretentious. But I
That's
also, I also know someone who's like, should I go into academia? Should I not? And I'm just
It
like,
just doesn't seem like a very.
That's the decision you have to make. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
But not to hate on them because they're great. But yeah.
It's just so fucking insular. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, probably could have taken that path, didn't, but anyway. But I do love college and all of the what's it called?
Regardless,
Yeah.
it's like a
yeah,
magical time.
It is.
You're
I
young,
mean, I love
you're-
the Sarah Lawrence bookstore. Oh my fucking
Oh,
God.
I'm sure. I've never been there, but
yes.
I don't doubt it. Yeah, and I mean, Dragon Day is basically a coming of age novel. It's a dark coming of age novel, but nevertheless, and I think that's a part of it. Is like,
Like, it's pretty fucking dark.
yeah. But you go to college, you become who you are, or whatever. That idea resonate. In Toby's case, he doesn't. He doesn't do that. He dies. but-
Arguably, he does in some sort.
Yeah, absolutely.
in a dark way.
With a little help from a memorable character, Professor Wallingford.
Wallingford says.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I'm like Wallingford. I'm more proud of having come up with Wallingford than I am with.
Yeah,
having come up
I'm
with
most
Toby.
proud
Yeah.
of like Valerie out of anyone.
Yeah.
She's evil.
I mean, it's almost a cliche, but the villain is kind of the most interesting character to write. Yeah.
Do you relate more to Wallingford or Toby?
I guess.
Inside you, there are two wolves.
Yeah. No. Actually,
Toby
though.
and
I mean,
Wallingford.
yeah, basically, and then like kind of Charles, the narrator, is sort of in between, and I guess that's the person I relate to most. I mean, more to Toby than Wallingford. I'm not. I don't have that charisma that Wallingford has. Like, I think that's.
I mean, I wouldn't be afraid of you in a locker room.
See, if like Rouge V would say that if I was alpha, like everyone should fear me in a locker room. I don't know if you know who that is. Anyway,
I don't, but I was reading, like, you know how Scribd has like those terrible books because it's Scribd and you can
like the Spark Notes versions.
no, just like you can publish anything, and
Yeah,
so they'll have
okay.
the terrible
Yeah.
things. Like there's actually I really enjoyed this book about like dirty haikus, but including them. But there's this one that's like how to be an alpha man. So I tried to read it, but it wasn't very helpful. Personally.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff's kind of bogus.
How do I be alpha? Tell me.
Oh,
How can I be
I'm not the
alpha?
person to
Like,
ask. You should ask Matt Forney.
I
Yeah.
don't think he would. You know, we talked a lot. I don't. He would. I don't know, he would say something really smart that I couldn't think of.
I mean, no. I said that as a joke, but also like he actually was involved in that scene. More than I ever.
I should
was.
ask Matt Lawrence.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You should ask
Yeah,
Matt
yeah.
Lawrence.
Matt Lawrence was our first guest on this
You
podcast.
should ask Delicious Tacos. He has a
Yeah.
lot of ideas about it.
Matt Lawrence is so great.
No, he is great. Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about you? Like,
What?
I want to know.
How to be an alpha?
Well,
How?
alpha, college.
Yeah, no.
Stuff.
I mean,
Were you an alpha
like,
in college? We could spin it that
Yeah.
way.
No, I mean, like, I have a similar answer to Matt here. Like, I do not identify as an alpha or what have you.
No, I mean, I think
Like-
it'd be insulting if I thought.
No,
I
no,
assumed
it's
that.
like, every guy, I think, in some sense, wants to believe, or you're grown up to believe, like, you should be an alpha, you should be, whatever. And like, not everyone naturally is. Very few people are, and that's why it exists as a thing.
I mean, the female equivalent thing is like at a strip club. There's always the alpha bitch. There's always the meanest stripper there. I know I have a magical power. I know how to get that girl to be my best friend.
That probably is a good.
It is.
Power.
I got her
Yeah.
to hold a sign up with my book name, but that's because
nice.
I paid
Yeah.
her on OnlyFans. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway.
But I mean, I think it gets conflated with a lot of like in today's world, like hatred for like toxic masculinity, alpha males, or like a bad thing. And like, I mean, I think as we've covered on the pod a lot, that we don't think that at all, really. Like, there's not enough kind of like praise for quote unquote alpha masculinity.
Absolutely,
And,
I completely agree.
And that's like, okay. It's okay to be alpha. It's okay to,
It's okay to be a fucking man, for God's sake.
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the pod for sure. Yeah.
Like, there's a lot,
Like Matt Lawrence.
Yeah, no, there's going to be, this is astrology bullshit, but yeah, there's a lot of hatred towards Mars Scorpio placements, which is one, it's a big dick placement, and two, it's like a strong soldier placement.
I'm actually more interested in that. Like, I'm not like a strict believer in astrology
You don't need to
necessarily,
be.
but I do. I mean, we just did a show with a writer named Brad Kelly who writes a lot about like tarot. Like, I do fuck with the occult, basically.
Yeah, anyone interesting does.
And I mean, not without necessarily like strictly believing in all of it. I always find it interesting the way it unravels just archetypes. And I actually like the way you put it. I kind of think low key like that could be like, I do think there's kind of a lack of masculinity in society right now. And I don't necessarily think like Trump and whatnot is necessarily the answer. I think there could be like this, because people are getting, I had this weird theory about like, because people, urbanites, shall we say, are getting more into the occult, like maybe there's a path forward for masculinity in that, because if you get into esoteric stuff, like, it's got to be, you got to have Mars and Venus, you have to have the moon and the sun. Like, I think there's like what I'm dancing around is I think there's something like any real, there's a lot of like super feminist people who are into astrology and whatnot. That's the image. But if you really get into the types of archetypes that stuff is dealing with, like there's something kind of quote unquote trad about it. Like it's very traditional stuff and traditional archetypes.
A lot of people are trying to get away from that because there's a lot of queer astrology people, but but at the same time, it's like there's a lot of powerful male energy. There's a lot of powerful female energy, and you can't. I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't be
everything in society is so. A lot of what like I'm kind of speaking in abstractions here, but like if I had to really pinpoint what I most stand against sociopolitically, it's all the forces that seek to mute masculine energy, but also feminine energy.
Absolutely.
Like the forces that are making us all like an amorphous blob, or even to quote someone archetypally right-wing like Bronze Age pervert, the yeast life, the mirror life of just horizontal reproduction without the powerful forces of masculine and feminine energy. So like, I'm not necessarily against like the sacred femme or whatever, and some people
you are.
No, not at all.
That'd be ridiculous.
So I think
do you know okay,
there's something, my point is I think that even though it's really associated with like super liberal stuff, I think there's something deceptively trad about, or trad's maybe a silly word, but like there's something about a lot of that astrology stuff and occult stuff, and just a
lot of people are ass backwards right now.
Yeah.
Like
even some of the queerish stuff. Like I don't know. There's people who delve into gender roles. I need to
tell you an example. Like okay, so there's this guy. Like I've obviously I've been the abuser. I've been abused in domestic relationships. One time I had more than once. My house has been the safe place for like this big black guy to come over here, and he was drooling on the floor. He got tased by his girlfriend. Like, I've been the one to help him out, and like he's not gonna say anything because like people don't give a fuck. It's really
Yeah.
sad. Like, and he was crying and drooling, and he needed shoes. He was in bad shape. Like, and no one's gonna like be like, oh, pity him.
Yeah,
like,
no, male domestic violence is a thing.
Abso-fucking-lutely,
And it's, like, something
yeah.
that, the culture doesn't really want to talk about.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But you were gonna read me my chart. Speaking of astrology, you want to do that?
Okay,
Yeah.
So, I want to hear a story about your book.
Oh.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, no, sure.
Yeah, you can tell her about Nutcracker, and it can be a kind of teaser for. I don't know if you
Definitely.
have you announced that it's coming out of their house?
Well, I haven't announced it yet. It's, I guess, not 100% official, but yeah.
The contract
My
isn't
novel
signed, but it's
my novel Nutcracker is probably coming out with Terror House. I'm very excited for that. And Nutcracker is it's kind of I like to describe it as a modern day Confederacy of Dunces. It's a satire of a kind of like edgelord, alt-right, incel type, and it's. I mean, the way I like to describe it is it's when a normie, if a normie were to write such a satire, it would just be a kind of cruel, kind of like, Saturday Night Live, like, send-up. But, like, our pod is called New Right. We are, in some sense of the right. And, like, yeah, I have empathy for the main character, and, like, it's written from, like, I can poke fun at him, and I can do it from a perspective of, like, understanding him. And so, yeah, Nutcracker is, it's Nutcracker.
Yeah. I mean, if you
It's,
can't have compassion for a character or empathy, then you're not having a deep character anyway. So
Exactly. Yeah, you can't do a satire unless you actually have empathy for the characters.
I think it makes it more authentic.
Then it's
Everything
just
you're doing.
a skit, really. It's a satire written from, a kind of right of center perspective. And, but also, like, I think there's something for it, for everyone in Nutcracker. Nutcracker is, interestingly enough, the name of a pornography aggregation website, on which the main character in Nutcracker posts his ongoing manifesto about the way the world is supposed to work. And he posts it in the comment forum of... No, it's not a real website, Nutcracker.
I thought I've seen everything.
Yeah, no, Nutcracker is an
new,
imaginary porn aggregation site where... So if you could imagine, like, how crazy... How stupid and crazy would it be for someone to be like, I'm going to post my manifesto of a new way of understanding man in like the comment section under porn videos.
Oh my god, it's like xenofeminism on a queen snake or something.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Someone's gonna know and they're gonna be like, oh, Eris is fucked up.
But it's yeah.
I'm so fucking psyched for that.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I'll send you a copy.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Oh god, my Valis Girl is really coming out.
Yeah, it's a wild ride.
Dumb question: is it 2 words or 1, or is it hyphenated?
Oh, it's 1. It's like it's a
That's
website.
a good question. Yeah.
It's like in kind of like Web 2.0 spellings, like for apps.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nutcracker, then without the E at the end. So it's crank, then R.
Oh, perfect.
So like
that.
Grinder kind of.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that just tingles me stylistically.
And the main character is I'm very pleased with his name. It's Spencer Grunhauer. And it's just a very like ugly. It's like a prissy but then ugly.
Yeah.
And so Spencer Grunhauer, and he's.
I like that. I have a synesthesia, and that feels
it gives you.
It feels
a
like
sensation.
royal and then like
Yes.
icky green. I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the point.
Too.
And and so he is trying to navigate the world as a guy writing a kind of trad manifesto of the way the world should be. and obviously runs into all sorts of trouble. He starts dating a kind of woke progressive woman.
Oh no.
And he's trying to subvert her and turn her into like a submissive helpmate for him.
Oh
And,
my
like,
god, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that dynamic.
and it doesn't work. And she thinks that he's lying to her about his actual political beliefs, and she discovers the lie. And she also discovers a lot of his writing, where he also writes about how
Oh my
stupid
God.
she is.
Oh,
and
I wonder how she finds out.
He just leaves his apartment, and she's like on his computer, and he just has the document open. And it's under like something like work files, and he's like, "Well, I thought she'd never look at my work files."
Oh my God.
And it's like his manifesto, and she discovers it, and she's not very pleased.
Well, I've read Nutcracker, of course. An advanced copy, shall we say? And it's a
Look
wild
how
ride.
excited both of us are.
Yeah, it's a wild ride. It's a lot of fun. It's very funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's satirical elements to my book, but Nutcracker is like way funnier.
It's I had a blast writing it. We both work in the entertainment industry, and me and Matt. I was furloughed at the start of COVID, so I had a lot of extra time. So I just started writing 4 hours a day, and I find you need to get into the rhythm to really do it, because like once you're writing 4 hours a day, you can just keep doing it. The voice is in your head.
Yeah.
But if you're like writing, like I'm gonna write 4 hours on the weekend, that's rough, because then you sit down and you're like, well, what does that guy sound like? What is? So yeah, I was writing every day, and it just started flowing.
That gets me back to what you were saying about how it took you a while, because but
I didn't have a habit going. I do now.
You've had those characters live in your head for because I was telling James Newlick, I need to get this fucking book out of my head, because Valerie's been living in my head for too goddamn long. I need them out.
Yeah. No, there really is something. When I was younger and learning about writing and books and stuff, it was like, would you, I couldn't imagine ever actually feeling like, oh, I need to write this. But when you get older, it becomes very real.
Absolutely.
Like, you are performing a kind of exorcism on yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. What was your process in terms of writing Ruthless Little Things? This is not in any way to put it down, but it doesn't really feel like it was necessarily the product of belabored writing every morning necessarily.
Oh, absolutely. No,
it kind of just felt like it came out when it needed to come out. Is that accurate?
It's extremely accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of sense, there's a sense of urgency in some stuff, as well as, I'm not very good at editing, and whenever I edit stuff, it makes it worse usually.
Yeah.
I add too many details, and it gets really scattered, so... so a lot of it is pretty sloppy, although there is one particular page that can you hand me there's one particular page where I can tell you that I know that I spent this one. I spent 8 hours on this at least, and I was a teenager on Admiral.
Yeah. This one. So we were kind of talking about earlier how there's different voices in the book a little bit. This is definitely one of the more hyper-focused, kind of meticulous. I mean it's good. It's great stuff. But there's that, and then there's other stuff that felt like it was kind of stream of conscious.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you get both kind of levels.
Okay, I want to ask you something that I've never asked anyone else.
Sure.
How badly did I think I accidentally ripped off that Cruel Intentions thing?
Which one?
When it's Marsha fucking Brady of the Upper East Side, when she's it's also twice in there. It's
I remember that now.
How bad?
I didn't notice it at all.
But
I'm also an expert on Cruel Intentions.
I realize now that you say Cruel Intentions that it was from Cruel Intentions. At the time when I was reading it, at the time that I was reading it, I thought it was from somewhere, but that's fine, because people quote movies, and that's
I thought a quote. I was just oh fuck! I totally ripped it off badly.
No, I mean I don't. Yeah, no, I think you have some leeway to.
Yeah. I mean, writing realistic characters means they're going to interact with pop fiction.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Pop culture.
I think it's all good. So I'm just taking a picture of your book next to your other book.
Oh, thank you. Oh I mean, like, I was like, but after I wrote, I was like, oh god, I wrote 13, and then so Maggie's secret.
Nah, you get away with a lot with books.
I get away with a lot.
Not you personally, but like one.
Oh, I was gonna look at my mugshot.
Oh yeah. Have you posted pictures of this book, the A Helpful Funny Person?
I did a while back
Yeah.
before I impulsively deleted all my old tweets.
I see.
I have them in my archive though. Which is
Yeah.
horrifying actually.
So Maggie compared it to 13 in Prozac Nation. Like, where do you think?
I never read Prozac Nation, but I read Bitches.
Yeah, no, I
Bad
never
Word.
read Prozac Nation either.
Okay. I mean, like, where would you place this on, like, a continuum of, like, those are, like, obviously, like, older books by women who are telling stories about, like, girl on the edge type of stories. And so, like, this is obviously, it just came out, it's more
If you ever wanted to
recent.
read the journal of some fucked up girl, that's a great... Like, if you wanted to, if you saw her writing in the journal on Bart, you know, get that. Because I love memoirs. Like, those are my favorite things to read. Because I want secrets. And there's a lot of script replacement.
Right.
Um,
Well, Ruthless Little Thing is like a little bit of a memoir, but as we talked about, also not, also very much a novel.
yeah, like, I just wanted to, like,
Yeah.
explore
Tell me if this is wrong or right. My impression was that there's stuff that's more stylized and maybe more fictionalized in the beginning of the novel, but by the end, it's pretty
raw,
pretty autobiographical, pretty journalistic. Is
yeah,
that
and then it's
accurate?
also, like, reading
Like-
the future, too, because, like, at the last page, it's, like, mouth wired shut or whatever, and then, like, I had no idea I was going to be in jail and have, like, my teeth, like, fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
so, like,
I mean,
a lot
you
of it's
talk
really
about.
exciting.
I don't know how much you want to get into this, but you talk about a little. Don't you talk a little bit about like the incident that got you, or maybe I was misinterpreting.
No, I only wrote, the only place I've written about that incident was in Terror House.
Oh, really? I haven't read that, to be honest. I should. I'll seek it out.
I can read it right now for you.
Sure. Yeah. I remember the part where like you scream at or want to scream at like a crossing attendant, like a street. Is that you know what I'm talking about? Like you were crossing the street and someone told you to not cross yet, and you got angry or something.
I'm always
I don't remember that part.
I don't think I made it up, but anyway.
I don't think you did either. No, I mean, most of my life has been like, you did that. I'm like, I believe you. I don't remember, but I believe you.
The unbelievable temerity and unbridled arrogance of cops. I told her to fuck off. Pardon me, fuck you. That part. I'm just open to it. Sorry to read your writing in front of you. I know not everyone.
No, I love that. Are you
yeah.
kidding me? I live for that. Thank you.
I love temerity. It's one of my
It's a
favorite
good word.
words.
Yeah.
What's your favorite word? Be as pretentious as possible.
Oh, yeah, no, I said I like temerity, but meh.
I don't know my favorite word. What's your favorite word?
Subterfuge.
Subterfuge. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
Right now,
Let's
or
think about
anaclitic.
Anaclitic.
I don't know what anaclitic means, actually.
It's kind of like super BPD. Relating to or characterized by a strong emotional dependence on another or others.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I looked at it as the word clit.
Yeah. I was gonna be like, yeah, analytical, but involving clits or something.
it's the algorithms.
Right,
exactly.
That's like
That's
the
Zoe's
clitoral.
fucking problem.
Yeah, that's like the clitoral vaginal will to power version. Yeah.
We're onto something.
We're onto something.
Cliticism. Literary cliticism.
Yep.
We
Cliterature.
coined it right here. It's a new academic discipline.
Well, I snorted. That means it's really funny. I'm having such a good time. I can't. Where's your chart? It's right here. Okay. So, I have.
How do you make these charts? Let me ask that.
Then you won't need me anymore.
Okay, fair enough. That is a more than fair answer.
I just go to astro.com. Anyone can do it.
I'm sure.
But I also have
Yeah.
an app where I have a database, so I also have like a lot of people's charts. And that I never do anything bad with because I'm terrible at astrology. You have no fucking air signs. How do you breathe?
I don't know.
Like, you have fire, you have earth, you have a lot of water. Where's the air?
No air.
Do you feel suffocated in life? Do you think you'll never get COVID? Have you had COVID?
No, I've never had COVID.
That's because you don't have air signs!
Yeah.
Because you
I'm not breathing. Okay.
Um,
I won't get into the nitty gritty. You just read it first, and then we'll go from there.
okay, so you have a Cancer moon, which is super based. It's very like Toby like feelings. I'm trying to call you.
So that's my lunar sign is Cancer.
Well, that's your moon sign.
Yeah.
And,
But I'm a Sag.
Yeah, you're 26 degrees Sagittarius. But your Mercury, which is how you communicate, is fucking base. It's an anoretic Sagittarius. And, like, that just means, like, what you say is really important and urgent. Like, G-Eazy has an anoretic Gemini, Mercury, anoretic Gemini. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Then oh, God, you're like me. You're a Scorpio Venus. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Venus, it was in Scorpio. Okay.
Oh. Is love war to you?
I mean, no, not really.
Okay.
But that's what it. If that's what the cards. If that's what the.
Well,
the
no, I mean, like.
Who am I to disagree?
You're very intense. You won't settle for anything less than intense. Like you're not gonna.
Yeah, that's not inaccurate.
That's a good thing in my opinion. You. Jupiter and Sag is base. It's like the luckiest. That's where it rejoices. So, are you lucky?
I think so.
Fuck yeah.
Hopefully we'll continue to be. But yeah.
Right on. Okay. Your Mars is in Virgo, which means like I would hate to fucking argue with you because you will always have to be right.
Oh, I feel okay. So I mean, I think that I definitely have been like that. I feel like I've like purposely moved away and tried to like be less like that.
Matt doesn't always have to be right. He has strong opinions and he
I
likes
don't
to
think
argue
he's an
them.
asshole. I just
but
like when he argues.
Yeah.
I don't always have to be right, but if I'm not going to be right, I have to very consciously make the decision not to be.
Wow. But like you won't settle for someone arguing with a point that's like incorrect, probably.
I mean, I might sometimes, you know. I'm kind of shy. Like I don't argue with everyone, you know. But well, it's shy in that sense. Like I especially recently, like maybe when I was younger, more so. But now I kind of as I get older, I'm like more and more just. I realize I can't really change people's opinions. Like it doesn't matter if I'm right. So I kind of like I think I was telling Dan or I was telling someone this. No, actually I was telling someone else this, but I just kind of at some point realized that the whole notion of like arguing is pretty pointless because you can't really change people or what they believe.
That's true. Like my counselor in rehab thought she spent 3 minutes of her life telling me I was straight. I'm like, okay, Michelle, fuck off. I'm fucking my roommate, but okay. Like.
Yeah, like I think, like I'm of the especially when it comes to political debate. I'm of the opinion that 95% of political debate is just jousting. It's just people trying to one up each other without actually trying. Were we? I didn't remember if it was you or.
It's just about people trying to win.
Yeah.
That's all ego. That's all like shit that Buddhists are like.
Yeah, and then like there's maybe it's more like 98%, and then there's like 2% of like actual open dialogue where people's opinions can be changed. And in those cases, I would try my damnedest to be right, sure. But I think most of the time it's just jousting, and I don't engage.
And social media doesn't help.
And so, it was us talking about it.
Oh gosh, have you ever just been hungry and then you end up fighting with someone on Twitter, and you're like, oh fuck.
No, I've actually never been in a Twitter fight in my life.
Oh my god, let's get in Twitter fight right now.
Let's go pick a fight on Twitter. Yeah. I invite anyone listening to this to pick a fight with me on Twitter. And watch me not respond, you know.
Watch you not respond.
Yeah, but you said there's no air sign. What are the nothing was in a air sign, like the planets, the stars, the moon were not.
Gemini, Libra, or what's the other? Aquarius.
Gotcha.
Which was the only thing. I was like, the only thing in your book. I was like, does he know?
Well, I was gonna ask about that. So I got something astrologically wrong. So Pisces.
No,
I ripped this off from.
I will admit
No.
that. Okay.
No, I don't know that much about it. You know more about it than me. But what was the specific error I made?
Well,
Tell me.
because you said you've never made a mistake because if you use an M dash in the sentence, I can't fault anyone for using an M dash.
I said
Truly.
Aquarius is not a water sign.
It's not, but it is a water bear.
That's
so you're not wrong.
So I took that from
Virgo, Mars. You're not wrong.
So it's the water bear, but it's not a water sign. How does that figure? That doesn't make sense. But it's not. I guess that's true. I think I took that from Alexander Dugin, if you know who that
I
is.
don't, but you should call them and be like, fuck you.
Yeah,
No,
you
he did.
call
I don't.
Dugan.
I should call Dugin. Yeah. I don't think he said that it was a water sign. Yeah, just that image of it as a bearer of water and the notion of bringing water to something that is dried up.
Astrology bitches are gonna read. You don't want astrology bitches are mostly terrible. Those are those evil poet ones that always are like, everyone's bad. And
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. Like, there's an annoying image of astrology bitches, and yet I think there's something.
Dude, I got so paranoid. I changed my birthday on my profile just like for that. Oh, that one. What is it? Bird poems, girl. I was like, that was bad.
Yeah.
That was a bad time.
No, astrology is like one of those things. There's a lot of like vaguely hippie-ish things that are like this. Where like I don't really like most of the people that are into it, but the subject itself, whether it's like I don't know, holistic eating or fucking astrology or whatever the case might be.
Well, I bet you probably don't know. I got into it because I wanted to avoid I wanted to avoid theory Twitter, and also I was doing a lot of math.
That's when you got into astrology.
Yes,
so you got into it online.
Yeah, and I gave my girlfriend psychosis because you're gonna die soon. It's because the ruler of your first house is in your 8th house. And
freaked her out.
Don't date me. I'm very terrible. Well, not that you're in danger of doing that. Don't worry. But no, just, for anyone reading or listening. Okay, your true note is important. Okay. Oh yeah, when did your Saturn return yet? Okay, so your sun is super near your Mercury too, so like that's like your life's purpose is to communicate. So you're kind of like
okay. No, that I definitely.
So that's kind of cool.
Vibe with that.
We
Yeah.
have a pod, so
Yeah. No, I'm
getting there.
verbal intelligence kind of guy more so than anything.
I know. I mean, I'm terrible at speaking. But
you get your point across. As I said earlier, I don't know. I'm not like a firm believer in astrology, but I have to say I never looked into it, and then I learned. I didn't learn until later in life that I was a Sagittarius because I never gave a shit about it. But the second I learned that, I was like, oh, I am a Sagittarius. Like,
I don't know much about Sagittarius as well.
It's the most philosophical. I learned about it because there's like an old the Doors like fucking album, a live album, and Jim Morrison's talking about astrology, and he's like, I'm a Sagittarius, the most philosophical of signs, and I was like, oh shit, and I looked it up, and I was like, oh, I am too. I'm just like Jim Morrison. And I was like a 13-year-old dumbass.
No,
but
I can tell you what you have in common with him astrologically. I'd love to do that.
Probably plenty, I'd imagine.
You're both Scorpio Venuses. You're trying to start based in his actually.
What do you mean by based in this context? Just like
cool, good.
Oh, cool.
You know.
Well, thanks.
Like he has a sun in his 15th degree, which is like career, money, Taurus, moon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the sun. Yeah, it's just yours is better. I feel like I'm looking at dick pics.
Wait, what do you mean? You metaphorically?
Well, just this one's better than this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And honestly, ask Manuel. Like I was really happy in jail. Like
well, you said you got the reading done. Yeah.
So my astrologer said it would be good for me.
Okay.
Plus, how many? I can read a prison novel.
You should.
Yeah.
It's just like going to a Marina Abramovich. How do you say your last name?
What's up?
Marina
Abramovich? Yeah.
It's just like going to one of her workshops,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I'm just one of those weirdos that can thrive in institutions, I guess.
I don't doubt it. I don't know. I'm not saying like it sounds fun or anything. I'm not gonna make some stupid statement about being a starving artist and blah blah blah.
Well, you're not
or
starving.
beyond a starving artist.
You're not starving there.
That's
You
true.
get
You're not
commissary.
starving there. Yeah.
You get fat.
Yeah. Where would they? Do you know where they'd send you?
No. But
Gosh,
I got so many people in rehab who's like, I'll send you drugs in jail.
Oh no. That's probably not.
But I also
I can't
learned-
endorse that.
No, I don't.
But,
I
yeah.
wouldn't want to waste my time, or I don't want to do that there. Like I want to go into my 30s sober. you
Yeah.
know? But
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
No.
already written the drug book. I can
Sure,
write
sure,
something
sure.
else
Yeah,
down.
no, I mean, I've barely done drugs, but I do think sobriety.
What drugs have you done?
Oh, that's a really interesting question for you to ask me. I mean, almost fucking nothing. Weed.
Weed? I can't do weed. You're so
I hate
hardcore.
weed.
I
So
hate
here's
weed
the
too.
deal. I've talked
have,
about.
Have you seen that thing where he's like, I hate weed? Weed
No.
up. Oh
What
my
is
god,
it?
look it up. Look at the Beetlejuice. I hate weed. I'll look it up.
Okay, yeah, I just don't want to fuck with the recording,
I
but
don't-
yeah, no, I've smoked weed. I went so because I was homeschooled. I've talked about this. I've actually talked about this on the pod a few times. It comes up somehow always, but I was homeschooled. I was kind of sheltered. So I didn't really do any drugs. I smoked weed in high school, and that was fine. But I went into college, kind of wanting to experiment with some of this stuff. I would never have done like coke or anything, but I probably wanted to try like mushrooms and all that.
Mushrooms are fun.
I don't doubt it. I'm sure people have, and we talked about this on one of our recent episodes with Brad Kelly, who's an advocate of psychedelics. I thought all of it sounded good and like interesting, and maybe it was going to be a time to try that. But I talked about this on a recent episode, but I think it's a good story, so I'll tell it again. I took a massive bong hit that I was not ready for because I had no tolerance.
Oh, no.
Knocked me on my ass. I had like a panic attack. I felt like I was in hell, like literally considered the possibility that I died and went to hell because I was so unused to having any kind of, drugs in my system that I didn't know. And then at that point, I'm just like, I don't think drugs are for me. I mean, I probably tried weed a few times after that.
And you're like, oh.
But I just was always scared I'd go back to that place, so I never did it. But
The funny thing is, your tolerances and your tastes change. Like, I remember in college, when I smoked weed, I would get paranoid. I didn't like it. I started smoking again recently. I love it. It's great.
yeah, I did sort of have that experience. I think because weed is legal here in LA, I bought some legal, and I liked it a lot
You feel
more.
like, really like chill, happy, things that are funny that are usually lame or stupid. And that, that's fun. Like,
Yeah. I liked it more the last couple times I did it, but I was like, why? But I was always a little bit worried it would be bad again. And then I was just like, why would I, like, I don't really, why would I risk that? But also, like, I don't really think there's that much good coming out of this for me. Like, it's like a little bit fun, but it's not that fun. And I know a lot of people who do it way too much and get boring.
Oh,
and I don't
God.
want that to happen to me
Like
anyway.
brain dead or what?
Oh, just like I just feel like it kind of kills. I don't know. I'm not an authority on this or anything, but I do feel I've known people who like are creative and then they just end up smoking weed all the time rather than doing anything creative because there's a natural relationship. Creative people like those kinds of drugs, but
Absolutely.
I don't think people are like writing great novels on weed, or doing anything great on weed.
There's this whole book about like great writing that's been written on opiates, but like not everyone's fucking like.
I mean, I would think opiates would be possibly.
You're knocked out, so you're not really going to be writing
I mean,
too
heroin
much.
are so boring. Like that's why.
I mean, Naked Lunch is okay, but Blame Burroughs. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. It's been a while since I read it too, but I don't really buy beyond.
I always write sober.
Yeah,
because like
I think
it's just like things you think are funny, things you think sound good when you're high or drunk, usually don't. And like at least for me, I'm my like most authentic and like best self when I'm sober.
That's beautiful.
And so
I mean that seriously.
Yeah.
And so like that's the self that writes the best. So like
I wanna get to that place.
Yeah, no, I wish you the best. I'm not gonna like get on some AA soapbox or anything,
Oh,
but
no,
like I do think probably long
I've done
term.
enough AA for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to find this video I have of me doing dabs, pass the fuck out because I could not handle them.
Dabs. Yeah, I never even tried that.
Yeah, no, but it's me on the floor in like a scum shirt. It doesn't matter. But yeah, no, the last time I smoked weed, I hid behind a refrigerator. Actually, no. In New York, it was okay. I could handle it. But the time before that, like, I freaked out. I was hiding behind a refrigerator. It was bad.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I'm just parroting things I said on a recent episode, but again, it's coming up again, so we'll just get into it. Like, what's that? Yeah, I wrote off ever trying psychedelics because I thought if I couldn't even handle weed, I can't handle psychedelics. But the older I get, the more I'm hearing that even people who are like experienced drug users, they will tell you that some of their worst experiences are too much THC. Like it just sucks. Like LSD is going to be, or mushrooms or whatever, they're going to be more intense, but that just too much THC is just a shitty, muddy feeling versus, I don't know. I don't speak of it.
Acid twice.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I slept through the second time. The first time it was pretty fun. I drew on a canvas that I have in my closet, and it says we can't go back.
Yeah, see, with those drugs, I buy that there is some kind of creative stimulus that
That's
happens.
when
Yeah.
the dark net was still fun.
Mm-hmm. The what was still fun?
Onion, Tor, dark net.
I don't.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh fuck. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Of course. No, I don't either. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Little acid flashback there.
No.
Just kidding. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think
yeah.
everyone should do ketamine and listen to My Bloody Valentine. That's the only thing I stand by.
I've never done ketamine.
I've done some ketamine in my time.
But I have listened to My Bloody Valentine.
Okay,
and
you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the more important half of that equation.
Yeah.
Would, only shallow is it? Or-
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No. Totally. Yeah.
Yes.
But
You
psychedelics
basically already done ketamine.
very good for writing, I think.
Yeah. That's what Brad Kelly said too.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you
not
don't wanna write
writing.
you don't want to write on
Right.
psychedelics, but the insights that you take away from a trip, you carry them with you for the rest of your life. So that's very helpful in writing in the future because it's like, well, I learned something new and I see the world more fully, more completely. And so that's like,
Yeah, I buy that,
usually
yeah.
that's good for writing. And it's just good for you. It's good for your health.
Yeah.
I don't stand by meth writing at all because I relapsed after rehab and I was like cross-eyed for 8 hours and I wrote this really long thing that I will never read because I know it's terrible. And even James Newell, like that's why he doesn't like Distemper because he's like a meth addict wrote that.
Oh, was he? Oh yeah. We don't need to talk about James's history, but he was on.
Well, I
that
mean, he's
before.
open about it.
Yeah,
Like,
I've never. I mean, we're email friends. I never talked to him about that.
Yeah,
but
but he's recovered now, and he's.
Well, yeah,
he's
I
the
know
one
that-
that's
told
that
me, that he was in a
"Listen,
dark
you're
place.
too old for this.
Yeah. I know that he was in a dark place when he wrote it, and that there was substance abuse issues and whatnot.
Yeah, but Valencia is a great book for anyone
Yeah.
who does meth and wants to read a book that's really great.
No, James Nollick's a great guy, and
Yeah.
hopefully will be a guest on our pod soon. I bet I'll get him to listen to this because he loves you, so he likes me too, I think. So I'll
I
be
love
like,
him so
yeah,
much,
yeah.
and my favorite thing ever is just to find any way to bring him up.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's one of our kind of treasures in this sphere. You know what I mean?
He is such
Like
a
everyone is good.
No
Like
one
I
else
like,
is him.
yeah, but he's like one of the OGs in a way. You know what I
like
mean?
you read his writing and you're just like you're gone. You're just
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And he smokes weed or he eats gummies.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, weed's
And
just
like
weed,
I had weed in New York and I was fine.
but- Have you met Nollick?
No.
He's a shy guy, so I don't know. He doesn't get down here. Too
I mean,
much.
I'm shy too. Like
Right.
he
We're all
called me once
shy.
and I was like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
But no, he
Yeah.
called. Then I talked to him later, and he has a very nice voice. And he called me in jail. He answered Domino's Pizza.
Aw,
He's very
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's like he writes from the dark place that most people never want to go to.
Yeah, I know. And he's an interesting brain. Like he's friends with what's his name? Jonathan Lethem. Like he's got connections in high
interesting.
places. Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's like a more mainstream writer basically, but I know that James so Jonathan Lethem took over the post that David Foster Wallace used to have at Pomona College, I think. And so he's a pretty preeminent, writer, but
he edited Dennis Cooper's last book too.
Nollick did? Right, he did. Yeah, and he's friends with Dennis
At the
Cooper.
same
So
time, he helped look at mine.
yeah, so Nollick's a good bridge between different spheres, Yeah, no,
And
he's
I
great.
think Body by Drake is one of the most important stories.
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
Like,
That one's in Haunted Girlfriend, right? Yeah.
That one and Scattertown by Gabriel Hart. Like those are the two most influential, not influential, but like lottery status, kind of. You know, like that horror story by.
By Shirley Jackson.
Yeah,
yeah.
Kind of, like,
yes,
that
I know exactly what you mean.
I'm sure you do. I just
remember.
remember.
Not even the story, but just the status. I know what you're saying. I mean, I really like Noah's story. I don't remember what it's called. It's escaping me, but the one that was in Expat 4. Yeah, let's pull it up. I mean, I was kind of blown away by it. Yeah. How's your leg, by the way?
It's been more useful in past times.
Yeah, this grade volume. You're not in this one though, right?
Well, I mentioned by Bibles.
Okay. Oh, I haven't read that. I haven't read the Bible story.
Oh, it's.
But yeah. Hold on. What's it called? Oh, Paul Coran is in this too, or however you say that. Interesting. I still got to read a lot of these. But Dark Web. The story's called Dark Web by Noack.
Wasn't that also on Care House?
I don't think so. I'm not. Maybe it was. No, I would think that he would leave it just with Expat. But
No. Recently he did something about the Darknet.
I think Dark Web is actually good. I think he told me that it would be in his new collection, which I'm very, very excited for. I think it might be coming out next month. What's it called again?
Lazy Eyes.
Lazy Eyes. Yeah.
Next month. Oh my god.
That's going to be big. Yeah, and hopefully he and I will be doing a chat about it on New Right.
Very
podcast.
cool.
Yeah,
We love it.
definitely. But yeah, Dark Web's a good one. But speaking of Gabriel Hart, I still have to read his stuff, but he's another LA guy, right?
He lives in Joshua Tree.
Oh, that's awesome! I love
He's a
Joshua Tree.
musician. Like I just got his CDs over there.
Oh, cool! I should check that out too. His music
Jill
fan.
Weddings at jillweddings.bandcamp.com if you so choose.
Yeah, no, I will check that. I listen to a lot of music in addition to reading. No. I listen to music.
I can, I have a profile.
Oh yeah. Definitely. You
Yay.
should. You can become my second follower. I think I'm.
Hell yeah.
I might have my normie name on it. So
I
hold
won't
on.
tell anyone.
Hold on. Let me look it up quick.
Okay.
But I bring him up because he organizes a lot of the like readings at stories and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you did that like last fall, but there's another one coming up that you are hoping to be able to make, right? You want to pitch
did,
that?
At least two readings of stories. Because the first time it was by Elizabeth Ellen, I did that with Elle Nash too, and that was great. I met a lot of people.
Yeah, that's great. I missed it because I got like held up at work or something.
Oh, I think I almost went there on a motorcycle.
But yeah, there are 2 events coming up in a couple of weeks with hosted by Gabriel Hart and The Last Estate, I think.
Yeah, and you're going to be reading at one of them, right?
Yeah, you're going to be at one of them.
The Last Estate isn't hosted. They're just we're there. I like
Okay.
that they were like, we don't endorse anyone except Eris. That's an inner joke about like how like if you read Expat Rising, how Lit Reactor was like, she might trigger some people. So
Yeah, no, Expat Rising by Gabriel Hart. That's where I got the initial info about the. How do you say this again?
That's cool. We could just call it. That's cooler.
Yeah.
You know.
But the Japanese cult. That was where I got that. I can't find my Bandcamp right now, but I will find it and I'll DM. I don't know how to get on Bandcamp. Like it's like
I
whatever.
always change my password every day.
But you can see. I mean, I'm kind of proud of my Bandcamp collection. I've probably spent too much money on digital music that I could listen to on Spotify.
I got one of those like little phones with MP3s on it that was stolen from me too. But whatever.
Yeah. No, for the longest time, I was really into just like sticking to. I mean, this was like my version of being a Luddite, like sticking to listening to like an actual iPod and like having MP3s. Recently, it's like this is too limiting. I'm just gonna stream music like everyone else. But like, I like having some like physical form of music. I have like I'm like John what's it called?
I have a cassette for God's sake.
Yeah, I have cassettes. I've got vinyl CDs, MP3s. And I stream, and I will like I will.
Last FM account.
No, actually, but
Respect for knowing at least what it is.
Yeah, I do know what it is. I didn't. What you can you make like playlists and whatnot on there?
No, and it just tracks everything you listen to. So
Oh.
you're like, oh, this year, listen to that.
Oh, that's. I mean, I guess you do that on Spotify too. I was like pretty anti Spotify for years, but recently it's like I like the playlist making.
I mean,
capabilities.
Someone Canadian gave me a free premium, so.
Yeah, I mean
Can't say no
Spotify.
to that.
I don't know. I can't really comment on like whether or not it actually pays artists fairly and all that stuff that musicians
Well, I mean,
are worried
Musicians
about.
make money by touring.
Yeah,
You know that.
but I have to say, just as a collection of music, Spotify is
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and you can make good playlists. One day I will release a
I
mega
use
playlist.
Pandora.
Yeah, you do
So
use Pandora.
that's-
You're one of the
The
few
fuck?
people I
What?
know that still uses Pandora.
I am a Luddite when
How
it
is
comes to
that?
streaming. How is Pandora?
Do you have premium? Do you still?
No, I just have normal
Do you
Pandora.
actually listen to the commercials?
Yeah.
Why? Why did you do that to yourself?
Doesn't I'm into music, but like
You're also in a commercial. I was kidding. No, I'm the same boat. I don't buy Spotify Premium. Like I'll just suffer to do commercials. It's a point of pride.
That's why I don't watch TV.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
don't
one day
like.
I will probably get Spotify Premium, but like it's something I'm stubborn about. It's not. Yeah.
You and Dale Brett would get along.
Who's Del Brett? Yeah,
He wrote
I'm sure we would.
Faceless
But
and Upon. He hates streaming services.
yeah.
With a passion. That's awesome.
Even like movies and TV streaming services.
I'm not really sure, but
Yeah.
he's like, fuck Apple Music. Like,
Yeah.
He's great.
No, I was more like that earlier in life, and now it's like I just have surrendered to the tides of history.
I mean, like, I just
Yeah.
bought, like, lived through the CD so many goddamn times. I'm just like, okay.
It's not the same. Like this is kind of stupid, but I'll say it. It's the same with literature too. Like whatever platform you're listening to music on, whatever platform you're reading a book on, like it's always unique. There's no such thing as a total copy. Like if you're listening to a CD, it's a little different than if you listen on Spotify. It's like you listen to it in a slightly different way. This is like hair splitting, and people would say pretentious, but like I'm a firm believer.
Warm.
Yeah.
You're not.
And there's
I
like a
agree.
story, like if you especially when you have physical music, there's always like a story about how you got it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like this is
Yeah.
the Eagles CD I bought in Palm Springs or whatever. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I have like these are CDs that I got when I.
Yeah, bring that over.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
check out what's in there.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I have this from Birth Control Productions, which
Huh.
they're really cool on Twitter. Like they're really
Yeah.
nice.
yeah.
And
There's
then
something to
I
be
have,
said
like,
for
this signed
physical
Rasputina.
objects.
Yeah, I saw Rasputina. I felt like that kind of fit your vibe a little bit. Yeah. Oh, did you go to a show or what?
But like this is Gabriel's, and this is the gore shit cassette that I have, and I love it. And then this is
Oh, is that like a recorded cassette? Wow.
look how dreamy Gabriel looks in here.
Oh, Gabriel Hart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check that out.
Ridiculous. And look how gorgeous the CD is. Like I love this color. You know, like that's
pretty.
worth having. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with books, right? Like people reading on Kindles, it's just not,
Fuck that
it's not the
shit,
same.
man.
But I know I read a lot on
I mean,
Kindle
like-
out of convenience, but like I don't know.
For
I
me, it's not even convenient because
Yeah.
like I don't remember things as well if I'm not actually reading it on the page.
yeah.
Like on the screen, I
Like,
don't
I
remember.
understand
it.
if you have to like live in a shoebox apartment in San Francisco, like me, and everyone back when I did, and you don't have room for anything, but obviously I have space for anything else.
Yeah, real objects.
Like,
Yeah.
This is my favorite amphetamine sulfate book ever, and you can tell they're real hot, but
Oh yeah. No, that's like like a book that you've really like read and carried around.
oh yeah, they're.
That like
Let's see, what's the most beaten the shit out of book I have?
that's something. And it reminds you of things when you look at an old book. You look at an old item that you
Exactly.
carried
It carries
around.
that story with it,
And like you don't have that when you open up your Kindle. And
No.
you're like,
You don't.
And also, buying real books makes writers more money. So
Yeah,
keep
no,
buying
for
real
sure.
books.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another way that I say I have a too big Bandcamp collection, and now more recently I've been buying more books. But like it's good. You feel there's nothing else that I purchased that I feel better about than something I know is putting money in the pocket of another creative
Yeah.
like me. And I'm not talking about buying
Cannot agree
major
more.
label CDs or major publishing house books. I'm talking about buying like from Expat or from Bandcamp. It's like, treat others the way you want to be treated. I want people to buy my book, so I'm going to buy theirs, kind of thing. And regardless if they actually do or not, like, yeah, pay it forward.
Exactly. Like, and yeah, there's I can't say enough good things about that.
Yeah, no. Oh, you have Welcome to Hell.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Forney probably sent you that at rehab, right?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I loved it. I loved it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Billy on the pod.
Yeah.
I have a really special copy of Masculinity Among Men.
Oh, really?
yeah.
I actually don't have that book.
Because
Yeah.
mine's upside down. And so if I read it, it looks like I'm reading it upside down.
Oh, wow. That's,
It's a
yeah.
collector's item.
For sure.
Like, there's a picture of it again. It's fun. Like, and I love zines too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
do you ever have like any of the original journals that you've like written
Oh, yeah.
back in the day?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I've
you know
kept,
what? That's
a
really
lot of
funny
them.
that you asked that, and hopefully you won't be
Offended?
not offended. Hopefully you won't be like, "Oh, how could you?" But I actually threw away a bunch of old notes earlier this week because,
That's cool.
yeah, I was like, for a while I held on to them sentimentally, like, "Oh, these are the notes I took on my novel. They're special," and then I was just like, I got to move on. This is all baggage. Like the book is the book. All this is just clutter in my closet. So I actually just threw away like tons of notebooks of old shit.
Well, I mean, that's one thing. But how can I throw this away?
What is that? I'm looking at here.
I'm just kidding. I can special.
Oh yeah, we were talking the California Drive. Eris, it's really unique. Like, I don't know if we went to my apartment, like I would tell stories about my past life, but I wouldn't be able to just like reach and grab like a relic. One like really unique thing I've noticed about this conversation is that every time something comes up, you can like go to a different part of the room and like pull a relic out, whether it's like this old book you wrote when you were 7 or this driver's manual. You really have like your whole life here. It's kind of interesting.
Shit, yeah. Wow. I realize that. Wow.
But it's just kind of cool. I don't know.
No, it is.
You hang on to the stuff that matters.
I'm sentimental as fuck,
yeah.
man. For
I
real.
try to hang on to the stuff that matters, but sometimes I get rid of it.
And sometimes,
Do you mind if I take a picture of your bookshelf? I don't know. We always
yeah.
It's not like a
That'd be
super
great.
Let me look.
like the pod isn't super visual or whatever. But
Let me look at what books in it. Let's put that up. Why do I have maple syrup in that box? Oh, I have this Corey Wysmila. I can't never pronounce her name. She gave this to me.
Story of yeah. Oh, you know what? That's where
I love her book.
the story of that's about. It's like a French novel. So I'm just talking loudly to make sure the mic picks up. It's a French. Have you read it, Eris?
I haven't, but I've read Monster Sluts.
Okay.
And I dated a dominatrix for 7 years. So,
You said what?
I dated a dominatrix for 7 years. So.
You were.
No, God no. I was professional submissive, but for very briefly. Then I was like, eh.
Yeah. Story of O is where it's the namesake of Heartiste from the Chateau Heartiste, who was like one of those manosphere bloggers. So I have not read Story of O, but I met it was like like a French
It's
novel or
it's about like masochism.
yeah, right, and yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I totally misconstrued what you were saying. Heard that.
No worries.
Thanks. Thank you.
just gonna get a quick photo of your shelf because I think it captures the vibe of this episode really well.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually just bought a new phone, and that's the first picture I took on my phone. Was in the shelf.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm honored.
Sentimental.
Nice.
Huh. Take a picture. One of you should have. You should have this. You should try this one.
You see.
I want to take a picture of you wearing the please. I you look better at it than I do. And that's your shirt.
Let me see.
Oh,
Okay,
funny.
get your phone. We're taking selfies.
Alright.
Yeah, let's all take a
Sick.
selfie.
Yeah.
Let's see. Alright.
I can tell it.
Wow, I have hair. This is really weird. Fuck, we gotta get together.
Yeah.
Someone's gotta do the line test.
What's that?
There's a Rippolino line test.
What?
You haven't seen that on Twitter?
Is she born to maybe it's methamphetamine?
No.
What?
It's like, if couples, like the one who's leaning in, they do a line.
Oh,
to
the
show,
green
like,
line.
the green
Yeah,
line
that
test.
meme. Yeah.
The one who's leaning in is like the.
Oh, that's what that
the-
40 meant when he said that.
Yeah.
I had
Exactly.
no idea what that meant. I was like, I don't know anything about things. Can I feel? I want to know how soft your hair is.
Sure.
It's very soft. Oh my god.
Is it? I
It's
think of it
very
as
soft.
kind of dry.
No, no,
Yeah.
it's like an angel.
All right. Well, I think in terms of the podcast of it all, it's probably about a wrap. Do you have anything else you'd like to add for posterity?
What do you want to?
Do you when we grow up?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Do you when we grow up?
No, God, no! Don't do that. What's something I should ask you so I don't seem like an idiot?
Oh no! I mean, there's no right or wrong answers. I mean,
Yeah, no.
I was gonna ask you. This is like we've had an interesting conversation here and very personal. And this is a totally generic question, but are you working on anything right now, literature-wise? And if the answer is no judgment, because like I'm not exactly.
I wrote something
Yeah.
recently, and I wrote something recently, and then I posted it on Don't Submit, and I read it, and so that was good. So,
Oh, cool.
like, creative constipation has like
Creative constipation.
Miralax or whatever. I don't.
Yeah.
God, obviously not. If I just made that metaphor analogy thing, Jesus. Are you working on anything?
Mostly like screenplays right now. So.
Oh yeah, that's fucking. Okay,
At some point,
yeah.
I'm going to publish like a compendium of like essays and maybe because I've written some and then like maybe some short stories as well. Just like a
Very critical orifice.
no.
Oh, he writes really good essays.
I'll look into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking about. I want to write a book called The Black Album. It's like a play on the White Album by Joan Didion, but like has like.
But also Metallica.
But also kind of like Metallica. Also, I guess Jay-Z, although
Yeah.
not Jay-Z, but he just to acknowledge Jay-Z does have a album called The Black
Why
Album.
not? Why not Jay-Z? What do you got?
Oh, nothing. I wouldn't call him like an influence, but at some point that will probably come out. But it'll be kind of stories of a
Do you
somewhat
have
darker
any musical
nature.
influences? Like,
Oh,
what,
yeah.
Like, what music do you like to listen to when you write, if any?
I mean, I listen to everything. But I mean, if I'm really trying to focus, like Aphex Twin and like Boards of Canada and maybe even classical music, like instrumental stuff. But
Boards of Canada, you would have thought Live Journal.
yeah, it's like that kind of aesthetic.
Yeah.
But no, I actually have pretty significant musical influences, or not like lyrical influences on the band.
That's
The
my
heater just went off. That's probably the time for the podcast. There's this band called Shoo Shoo that was really important to me for a while.
Oh, yeah!
You know that?
Of course.
You seem like you
Live
would. Yeah. What's that?
Live Journal. Live Journal.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. Their whole style is kind of similar to that, like very honest, dealing with like sexuality and things like that, and dark and just raw. Yeah, Shoo Shoo matches that. But in a funny way, that's how I ended up on this corner of the internet in a very bizarre number of twists and turns. My friend Robert, who does the podcast, The Stark Truth, somehow, and it's not a natural fit that he did this at all, but he interviewed. Oh, you know what? I think James Nillick might have some. No, maybe not actually. Dennis Cooper does though, for sure. Has like some. Yeah.
I said that. Sorry.
Maybe some. I think Shushu was influenced by Dennis Cooper, but yeah. Basically, my friend Robert ended up interviewing the guy from that band, and I was like alone. It was like shortly after I moved to LA, and I was like lonely and like really obsessed with Shushu. And I was looking up interviews with the lead singer, and I found.
Moving to a city and being lonely.
Yeah, no, it's pretty.
I'm obsessed with Shushu.
Yeah, like LA is pretty lonely when you first get here. So I was listening to a lot of that, and found the interview that my friend had done with the lead singer. Like that's how I got into like podcasts and like the dissident right even, which is weird because that's not what Shushu's about at all. But like just life's random, and that was one of the things. Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't want to sound like one of those like you have things that are, but if you're into something, it's gonna.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I had a point. I lost it, but.
No, I get what you're saying.
Thank
that
you.
And then this is like slightly. I don't know. This is almost like a bad cliche or something, but the album Spiderland by Slint, like the post-rock album from the 90s. It's a song called like Dawn Amon or something in it that was about like a really isolated character. And like it's just like this brooding like guitar piece. Yeah. And it's just like this story about this guy who's at a party and doesn't really enjoy being there and is having trouble talking to people. And that was like a really significant. I listened to that at like 1920.
No, there's a song called Blank Eye Nosebleed by Adult, and it's like, wouldn't it be nice to go to a party and be the only one there? And I can't sing.
That sounds familiar, actually.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. No, that kind of vibe of, I've said this before, I think, that kind of vibe of like being at a party and not having a good time or like being shy or being cripplingly self-conscious, that was like, I don't know, for whatever reason, that's this feeling I wanted to capture in Dragon. And I think did to some
It was
extent.
beautifully captured because definitely. I felt
Well, thank
that.
you. Do you have musical influences on writing?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like I quoted Bikini Kill.
Right, you did,
like,
yeah.
Riot Girl was. I wouldn't
Well, that
have
makes sense.
any self-confidence if it wasn't for Riot Girl.
Yeah.
Like I mean, obviously, I'm obsessed with Hole. Obsessed.
Yeah.
Like Courtney Love, Patty Schmidt's book, and then. Oh, my prized possession. Where is this thing? No, it's not somewhere. But I love what she says here. I think I gave her the traditional blueprint for what a fucked up girl should be. I think that I sort of contributed and helped to shape that blueprint. It has always existed, of course. Girls should generally be loud and fucked up, or I usually don't talk to them. Except that they're quiet and fucked up, in which case they're even better in some ways.
This is the Courtney Love book.
Yeah. She's
And
kind of
signed, right?
Yeah,
That's cool.
I met her and
Oh, great.
I met her a few times. The third time I finally didn't cry. Yes.
Yeah.
She's very beautiful in real life. I mean, also.
You met her at shows or what?
I saw her at the Roxy.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I saw her at the book reading, and then I saw her when she did some talk show that also. Who's that orange woman who cooks? Paula Dean?
That sounds right. Yeah.
So that. She's so orange.
Yeah.
But I'm not really that obsessed with her anymore, which is very weird.
But no, again, like kind of to bring it full circle again, these things become a part of you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, huge.
Yeah.
Hugely influential. Oh my god.
All right, well, I think I'm going to turn off the recorder now, but it's been an amazing conversation. I hope the audio quality and everything.
This is the new right, a pod about embarrassing yourself.
I am wearing matching socks. That took me like 10 minutes to pull off. I want everyone to know that.
They are magical.
I think that's a good